Welcome to Department of Distance and Continuing Education, University of Delhi. Master of Business Administration, Semester 1. Core Course MBA FT 6106, Human Resource Management. Lesson 3, Job Analysis and Talent Acquisition. 3.1, Learning Objectives. After studying the lesson, the students will be able to get acquainted with job analysis, job descriptions, and job specifications. Learn the various techniques for data collection for job analysis. Explain the steps involved in recruitment process, selection process, and the induction. Finally, understand meaning of talent acquisition and downsizing. 3.2 Introduction. This lesson will be very helpful for the future job seekers and job providers. In this lesson, we will be learning how to tackle the problem of overstaffing, how we will hire the new employees, how we will be creating a fit between the right people and the right job. We will be gaining knowledge about how the job analyzer analyzes the job, develops job descriptions, and prepares job specifications. We will also learn how can retain the talented employees so that they do not leave our organization. We will be looking at various internal and external sources of recruitment, whole process of selection, and lastly, we will also see how we should orient the new employees in the organization. 3.3 Job Analysis. 3.3.1 Concept of Job Analysis. Job analysis is the process of collecting data for a particular job which will distinguish this job from the other jobs in the organization. It involves collecting the data which will guide about the skills, knowledge, abilities, and qualifications required for the job. Job analysis also instructs about the tasks, duties, and responsibilities related to the job. The management will collect the data related to the job and then will analyze it. The meaning of the terms involved in the job analysis. Number 1, job. Job means grouping of tasks, positions involving some duties, responsibilities, knowledge, and skills. Number 2, position. Position is the collection of tasks and duties regularly assigned to one person. Number 3, duty. Duty is the related to sequence of tasks to be performed. Number 4, task. It is a specific activity which has a process and few steps. Number 5, occupation. Occupation is grouping of jobs. Number 6, job family. Job family consists of job of similar nature like all jobs of doctors. Job analysis has two byproducts which are job description and job specification. The purpose of analyzing the job is to develop the differentiation between the various jobs so that not job is same in the organization as it will lead to duplication of work. So that no job is same in the organization as it will lead to duplication of work. Job analysis involves studying the aptitude required, skill required, level of understanding required for a particular job. Also, analyzing the physical and mental characteristics required by the job holder, like personality, confidence, learning skills, communication skills, etc. 3.3.2 Job Description. Job description talks about the requirements of a particular job which is necessary before advertising any vacancy. It is a detailed facts about the job which consists of content related to the job like roles and responsibilities of the job. It is a factual written document giving descriptions about the job. Details which can be included in job description are as follows. Number 1, name or the title of the job like manager, financer, CEO, chief executive officer, CFO, chief finance officer. Number 2, location of the job. It includes the name of the department for which the job would be advertised. Number 3. Summary of the job. It will include the task to be performed in a summarized manner. Number 4. Usage of tools, machines or equipment. Whatever machinery or tools or equipment will be used should be described in the job description, as it will give indication about the job. Number 5. Nature of relationship. It should clearly indicate the nature of relationship of job with other jobs in the organization, as it will give clearer picture about the job. Last, work environment. For interpreting the work environment, condition of work, condition of physical environment, all should be written under job description. 3.3.3 Job specification. Job specifications talks about the requirements of a job. It translates the job descriptions into physical characteristics which are necessary to perform a job. These are the minimum acceptable qualities of human being which should be possessed for a particular job. The job specifications include: first, mental skills; second, education qualifications; third, training; fourth, experience; fifth, health; sixth, personality; seventh, creativity; eighth, initiative; ninth, aptitude; and last, interests. Job specifications serve as a guide which helps the management in hiring right people for the right job. It acts as a parameter which needs to be fulfilled for the candidates and helps the management in judging the eligible candidates. 3.3.4 Comparison between job description and job specification. Meaning: job description talks about the content of a particular job, whereas job specification talks about the qualities required for a job. Second, job description is important to define the job, whereas job specification is important because it aids in recruitment, selection, etc. Third, job description includes title, responsibilities, location of the job, job summary, etc. Whereas job specification includes qualification, training, experience, etc. Last, job description precedes job specification, whereas job specification succeeds job description. Figure shows job analysis and its two components, job description and specification. 3.3.5 Uses of job analysis. The job analysis is used in various fields which are given below. Number 1. Human resource planning. Job analysis helps in knowing the qualifications of the human resource which is required in the organization. Number 2. Recruitment. When job analysis provides the description of the job, then it becomes easy to gather the application from the eligible candidates. Third, selection. Job specifications helps in hiring right people for the right job. It creates a fit between the prospective employee and the job. Fourth, placement. With the job analysis, the interest, knowledge, skills, all these traits can be matched with the potential employees and they can be hired and placed to the right positions in the organization according to their abilities. Fifth, training and development. If the employees are clearly acquainted with what is expected from them, then they can also indulge in some skill development and training. Sixth, job evaluation. Evaluating the job will help in fixing the compensation for that job. Job description helps in knowing the worth of the job to calculate the remuneration for the job. Seventh, performance appraisal. Job analysis gives the benchmarks or the yardsticks against which the performance of the employees can be judged. The standards can be matched with the actual performance of the employee, whether he is able to achieve the targets given to him or not. Number 8, employee counseling. The employees which are not able to cope with the present job according to the needs of the job Then they can be guided and counseled to adopt another job which will relate to their domain. Ninth, job design. Job analysis helps in designing the job according to the specifications and descriptions. It also helps in reformulating some jobs. 10th, organizational design. Job analysis helps in grouping and classifying different types of jobs, which helps in building the structure of organization in terms of authority and relationship building. Last, safety and health. Lastly, job analysis helps in finding the work environment which guides any hazardous condition of working or any unhealthy environment. There can be dust, heat or noise in the industry which can cause issues to the employees. 3.3.6 Process of job analysis. There are a number of steps in the process of job analysis which are discussed below. Number 1. Organizational analysis. The very first most step in the process of job analysis is to find the number of jobs available in the organization, to know the linkages and the relationship between them. It would help the job analyzer to know the goals and the objectives of the organization in developing the jobs. Second, acquiring knowledge about jobs. It is critically important to know all the job titles available in the organization, because sometimes the titles which are similar are not related and vice versa. After knowing the titles, the analyzer would fetch information related to different jobs. The information should answer what, when, why and how about the job. Third, taking samples for jobs. The analyzer, of course, could not analyze all the jobs, so he takes some jobs which will be acting as a representative of other jobs for analyzing and judging. Fourth, gathering information. Now the question arises is who will collect all the required information. So the analyzer can take the help from trained officials from outside or can take help from the staff already working in the organization. Fifth, data collection. After this is decided that who is going to collect the data. The phase of data collection comes into picture. Now the data collection should involve the duties, tasks, role, responsibilities, etc. related to the job. Sixth, development of job descriptions. The information which is gathered will be used to prepare a factual statement describing the roles and responsibilities which are required for performing a job. Last, preparation of job specifications. The last step is to prepare the specifications for the job, which will specify the physical and mental characteristics required to perform a job. 3.3.7 Techniques for data collection for job analysis. There are some techniques which are used by the management for collecting the data for analyzing the various jobs which are explained below. Number 1. Questionnaires. The questionnaire is a popular method of collecting data for analyzing jobs. It is distributed to the employees and supervisors for fetching the information. It consists of questions related to the description of duties, working conditions, tasks and responsibilities, etc. This method would be impactful if the respondents understand the questions carefully and provide the answers with objectivity. Second, written narratives. In the organizations where the supervisors maintain detailed records of their tasks, timings of the task, this information can serve as written narratives. This method is little unsystematic and unorganized. This method should be coupled with other methods so as to fetch the correct details. Third, observation. In this method, the analyzer of the job observes the workers performing their tasks, duties and responsibility. After observing, he makes the notes for the same. But this method has limited applicability because observing every job is not an easy task. For example, observing the salesman would mean that the analyst should follow him wherever he goes to sell his products for several days. Fourth, log records. Under this method, job holders are provided with a logbook under which they need to enter every detail of the work performed, the type of task they have done, type of duties they have performed, starting time and ending time of each work. But this logbook provides incomplete information because it does not consist of the type of equipment used, the type of machine used, and the type of tools used. And also, it suffers from one more limitation, that is, not everyone will maintain this logbook properly and enter every detail. This method is used for the jobs which are not easy to observe, like job of scientists, senior executives, researchers, etc. Fifth, interviewing. Under this method, the job analyst interviews the employee and the supervisor of the employee to get the information about the job. From this method, the job analyst can easily get the information related to the job. Structured questions can be asked to fetch the information from the job holder and the supervisors. After this, the job analyst can make judgments which information is useful for this job designing. Case study. A case study on job analysis. ABC Pesticides Company is 9-year-old pesticides making company in Kerala decided to expand their business in 4 other states, namely Jammu, Gujarat, Punjab and Maharashtra, where the product is having good demand. They plan to approach farmers directly to understand their demands and also the dealers in the said state to establish the products. Mr. Arjun is the head of HR department of the company. The senior executive told him to select 4 best candidates for marketing purpose who can sell company's product and capture good market share. Mr. Arjun started finding the best personnel for this task and found 4 candidates who have good experience and have good track record in top pesticides making companies. So Mr. Arjun selected these 4 candidates and also introduced them to the senior executive and assigned them with their duties and responsibilities. After a month, the senior executive was very disappointed with the performance of these candidates who have been placed. He called up Mr. Arjun and gave him the feedback about all those candidates. He told Arjun that only one candidate was able to bring the business from one state. Rest of the candidates didn't add in the business anything and also they are quitting. He also added that Mr. Arjun shouldn't be paid as he was unable to do his basic HR job. Questions. Number 1. What went wrong in the case? Number 2. Who is at fault, the senior executive or Mr. Arjun or the 3 failed candidates? Number 3. How can the pesticides company come out of this issue? Last, what are the HR concepts that you can correlate with this case? 3.4. Downsizing and retention. 3.4.1. Downsizing. Downsizing refers to the process of reducing the number of employees in the organization. It involves terminating the contract of many employees at the same time. Downsizing is also referred to as restructuring or right-sizing. It leads to flat structure of organization which is more competitive and eligible to adapt to the threats and opportunities coming. It is a planned and deliberate action taken by management to reduce the number of staff in the organization. During downsizing, many workers are waived off and others are forced to work in the environment which is not certain. Downsizing is a permanent reduction of the employees, unlike the case of layoff, which is a temporary elimination of employees. An organization can also give option of VRS, voluntary retirement scheme. There can be various reasons for downsizing. Number 1, reducing the increased expenses of the organization. Number 2, improving the company's overall operations. Number 3, removing the unprofitable projects which will lead to termination of jobs. Number 4, meeting the challenges of the environment. Number 5, upgradation of technology due to which some employees become obsolete. Number 6, changing the location of the business, like moving the business from one place to another, which will create difficulty for some of the employees. Number 7, solving the problem of overstaff. Number 8, reducing duplicate work. Number 9, to save the organization from recession like the case of COVID. Number 10, to adapt to the latest technology. Last, giving more concentration on core activities and outsourcing the non-core activities. Measures taken by human resource manager during downsizing. Number 1, communicating with employees. HR manager plays a critical role during downsizing as he plays the mediating role between the management and the employees. He conveys the reasons for the termination of employees. If the manager will communicate everything positively, then chances of negative word of mouth and rumors about the organization will get somewhat reduced. Second, gaining employees' union trust. The manager should gain the support of trade union by convincing them the need for downsizing. To tackle union can become a challenge for the management because the union can protest against the organization. In India, this policy is much opposed by the trade unions. Third, giving outplacement services. The manager can help the displaced employees in finding alternate jobs by referring them in another organizations, or by finding them another jobs, or by helping them in preparing resume according to the industry's requirement, or helping them with career counseling. Fourth, looking at other possible alternatives. The HR manager should try to convince the top level management that downsizing should be the last option. First, try other alternatives which can help in overcoming the problem of overstaffing. The various alternatives can be: first, reducing the number of work hours of all the current employees, which will lead to cost reduction and the termination of employees will not be required. Second, if the number of employees is more in one department, then they can be shifted to some other department which is understaffed. Third, giving the option of VRS to the employees. Last, laying off employees, which mean temporarily elimination of the workers for some period of time so as to cut down the cost. 3.4.2, Retention. Acquiring talent is not only the challenge faced by the organization, but the bigger challenge is to retain those employees with the organization for a longer period. There are lots of opportunities for talented people out there. Also, the problem of poaching and raiding is going on there in the industry. If we will not provide the employees with job satisfaction and with all the facilities, then they may switch to a job with higher pay and higher facilities. Measures for retention of talent. First, acquiring right talent. It is very important to employ the right people for the right job, as if they will properly fit in the job, then they would feel more satisfied with their work. If there is a misfit between the employee and the job, then that employee should be transferred to the department where he fits well according to his interest, qualifications and skills. Second, providing attractive remuneration. If the management wants to retain their current employees, then it should provide them with good compensation packages so that they cannot be easily poached. Third, encouraging the involvement of employees. When the management engages their employees in the decision making, planning and formulating of strategies, then the employees feel that they are being valued and they are a vital part of the organization. This will increase the loyalty and the commitment of the employees towards the organization. Number 4, challenging projects. Providing the motivated employees with meaningful and challenging projects makes them feel satisfied and increases their dedication towards their work and organization. Fifth, recognizing performance. When the employees are recognized for their work, they feel being valued in the organization because their work is getting appreciated and praised. This will improve their relationship with the management. Sixth, job security. For retaining the employees, the very simple step a management can make is to provide the employees with the job security. Some employees prefer secure jobs even if they are offering little less pay than the unsecured jobs. So if the employees feel job insecurity, they may leave our organization for a secure job. Seventh, career development. The employees at higher position want professional growth also with the personal growth. So the organization should try to inculcate some sort of training programs for each employee so that they can advance in their career simultaneously with their work schedule. Eighth, positive work environment. Last but not the least, the organization should provide the employees with positive and cordial work environment. The atmosphere of the workplace leads a great impact on the effectiveness and the efficiency of the employee. The management should understand work-life balance of employees and provide an atmosphere with great communication, trust for each other and cooperation among all. 3.5, Talent acquisition and recruitment. 3.5.1, Talent acquisition. Talent acquisition is the function of the human resource department which involves finding the people which can be hired. The talent acquisition is the work of top level management. It is related to making strategies and plans about how to proceed with the acquisition of new talent in the organization. It involves inviting applications from eligible candidates and then choosing the right people for the right job. It is a process of hiring, deploying human resources and providing them with fair compensation. It is a process which involves recruitment, selection, induction, training. Talent acquisition is important from the viewpoint of the organization because if the employees will be less or more in number, it would be a problem for the organization. If the number of employees is less in number, then it would hamper the work and the growth of the company. If the number of employees is more, then it would increase the unnecessarily cost of the company. Also, finding the right personnel is vital as lot of time, effort and money are involved in the process of hiring any employee. We will be learning the meaning of the terms recruitment, selection and induction in the next section of the lesson. 3.5.2, Recruitment. Recruitment is the process of bringing pool of applications. It involves making people apply for the vacant positions in the organization. It fosters attracting various suitable candidates to enable the organization to choose the best one among them. Recruitment is a positive process which involves finding the prospective employees for the current or future position of job opening. For recruitment process, various sources have to be identified through which personnel can be attracted. This process of searching different sources is known as process of recruitment. Recruitment process precedes the selection process and is related to making all the applications available at a single place for management to choose the suitable candidate. For collecting various applications, the Human Resource Department advertises the vacancy in various sources so that people can apply. Process of recruitment. Step 1. Identification of various sources from where personnel can be attracted. Step 2. Analyzing their feasibility and viability. Step 3. Choosing the appropriate source which will provide us with the desired candidates. Last, inviting application from the candidates for the vacant positions. The scope of recruitment is widespread and the prospective and potential employee can be invited from various internal sources and external sources. Internal sources. Internal sources of recruitment means when we recruit the employees which are already working in the organization. Sometimes the candidate which is required by the organization is easily available inside the organization only. So there is no need to hunt the employees from outside sources. There are three types of internal sources which are given below. Number one, transfer. Transfer means when an employee is shifted from one job to another, one unit to other, or from one shift to another which carries same set of responsibilities, compensation and same designation. It is generally done so that the problem of overstaffing can be overcome. Transfer is a horizontal shift of the employee in the job status. For example, a manager of a company is shifted from its Mumbai branch to Delhi branch. Second, promotion. Promotion means when an employee is shifted to a job with greater set of responsibilities, higher compensation and with higher position. Promotion is a vertical shift of an employee in terms of job status. The existing employees may be given some sort of training for getting promoted to higher positions or higher designations. Promotion acts as a motivating factor for the employees to work harder in the organization. For example, promoting an eligible assistant professor to the vacant position of associate professor. Third, re-employment of ex-employees. Re-employment of existing employees means employing the people who was working with the organization in the past but left the organization due to some personal reasons. It is cheaper for the organization to employ the ex-employees as the company already have a data of them and the organization knows them too well. Advantages of internal sources. Number one, the internal candidates have all the insider knowledge about the organization. Number two, promotion will boost the motivation among the existing employees. Number three, promotion will lead to the increased efficiency among the existing employees as they have a motivating factors to work upon. Number fourth, training costs will be reduced if the existing employees will be promoted to the senior designations. Fifth, when the internal sources are used, then the capabilities of employees can be used in the best possible manner. Last, the cost involved in recruitment through internal sources is very low. Limitations of internal sources. Number one, young blood cannot be found out from the internal sources which act as a demerit for recruiting through internal sources. Second, better talent which can be hired from the external sources cannot be achieved if we rely on internal sources only. Third, employee mobility is reducing which is little healthy for the organization. Fourth, there can be partiality in promoting the employees to higher positions. For example, the manager will give promotions to his favorites regardless of their inability for that position and not promoting the deserving candidates because he doesn't like a particular employee. Fifth, growth of the organization becomes limited as fresh talent is not hired from the external sources. External sources. External sources of recruitment means when we hire the employees from outside the organization. Sometimes the suitable candidates are not available inside the organization. So the organization must search the external sources like through advertising or placement agencies, etc. There are various types of external sources which are given below. Number one, direct recruitment. Many organizations are approached by some unskilled workers checking whether they can get employment there. Also, some organizations give recruitment at factory rate. It means whenever there is more work or many workers have taken a leave together, then these workers can be called to fill the gap. These unskilled workers can be kept at temporary basis and they are also known as badli workers. Second, casual callers. In many reputed organizations, qualified people also approach by sending their CV. These people can be called whenever the need arises and are also called unsolicited applicants. The organization can maintain a file of these applications so that whenever vacancy is there, these people can be called. Third, advertising. Advertising the vacant position has become a fashion these days as it helps in getting applicants from worldwide. The advertisement can contain the minimum qualifications necessary to appear for the interview, which will weed out some unsuitable candidates. Fourth, employment exchanges. There are some employment exchanges made by government under which government has also made it mandatory to fill some vacancies through these exchanges. Placement agencies. Like employment agencies, there is a network of private companies which provide personnel. These professional companies provide various categories of personnel to the organizations. Sixth, management consultants. Management consultancy firms specialize in providing the personnel. They also advertise the vacancy on the behalf of their clients. These consultants have a data bank of qualified personnel and specializes in providing top level and middle level executives. Seventh, campus recruitment. Campus recruitment is a very popular method of finding qualified personnel as in colleges. They complete their degrees, which makes them qualified for the job. The organization can visit the institutions and can conduct interviews there to find suitable candidates. Eighth, recommendations or referrals. The organizations prefer referrals of the existing employees as some knowledge of their background can be easily found. Also, the recommendation by some business friends, family also acts as a good source of recruitment. Ninth, labor contractors. Labor contractor brings labor in the organization while he also works in the same organization, but there is a limitation in this method that if the labor contractor leaves the organization, then the labor which he bought will also leave with him. So this method is not very popular but used in construction industries even nowadays. 10th, web publishing. Nowadays, putting advertisement on the internet has gained a lot of popularity. Even some websites are also made specifically for job findings like www.naukri.com and jobstreet.com, etc. 11th, telecasting. When the organization posts the vacant position on television through some channel like Doordarshan, this method is called telecasting. The advertisement should be with every details along with the job specification. Advantages of external sources. Number 1. When we use external sources, qualified personnel can be attracted. Second, when the advertisement is given in newspaper, the organization receives lot of applications and has a wider choice to choose from. Third, fresh and young blood can be catered to when the organization hires the employees from the external sources, which is not possible in the case of internal sources of recruitment. Fourth, if the organization caters to external sources, then the existing employees will work harder to prove their worth to the organization. Limitations of external sources. Number 1. When the organization caters to the external sources of recruitment, it acts as a source of dissatisfaction among the existing employees. Second, the hiring from the external sources is a time-consuming process. Third, also the hiring the employees from the external environment is a costly affair as searching candidates needs investment in the whole procedure. Fourth, uncertainty factor is there when hiring from external sources as there is no guarantee of finding the right person for the right job. Comparison of internal recruitment and external recruitment. Number 1. Internal sources means searching candidates from within the organization, whereas external sources means searching candidates from the outside the organization. Retake. Second, internal sources are economical in nature, whereas external sources are comparatively costly. Third, in case of internal sources, existing employees become highly motivated, whereas in case of external sources, existing employees become highly demotivated. Fourth, fresh talent. Fresh talent cannot be found out in case of internal sources, whereas fresh talent can be found out in case of external sources. Last, in case of internal sources, the process is comparatively quick as compared to external sources where it takes more time. Recent trends in recruitment. Number 1, outsourcing. When the organization hires the personnel from some outside agencies on temporary basis and does not offer them job as employee, this process is known as outsourcing. It means when we hire the personnel on lease, the agencies which outsource the personnel has a contract with these organizations. These organizations pay these agencies their payment and these agencies in turn pay the remuneration to the personnel. Under outsourcing, the businesses do not have to trouble themselves in finding the right candidate and does not need to give advertisements, which is a time-consuming process and costly affair. Second, poaching and raiding. Poaching means giving employment to the personnel who are already employees with some rival organization. This can be done by giving them higher pay or more benefits than they are getting in their current organization. For example, the employees of Pizza Hut can be raided by the Domino's, which will also bring the insider information of the organization along with the employee. Third, website or e-recruitment. With the digitalization all around the globe, we can easily advertise our vacant position on the internet and the potential candidates can send their CV through emails. The applications of candidates which seems to be suitable can be chosen from the various applications. This process is cheaper and takes less time. The organization can easily find the right people for the right job. Fourth, internships. Internships refers to employing during the summer before graduation from college. These can be in some technical courses. Employer tries to find talented interns and can also give them job on their completion of training period if they work well. Walk-in interview. Under walk-in interview, the employer advertises its vacant positions with the tag walk-in interview. It means anyone who is eligible for that vacant position can come and contact HR department and give interview. The candidate is also asked to fill the application form during the time of interview so that his details can be collected. 3.6 Selection and Induction. 3.6.1 Selection. Selection is the process of choosing the right candidate for the right job. It involves screening the various applications and from them choosing the best candidate which fits optimally for the required position. It is the process of differentiation which differentiates a candidate from the other based on skills, talent, and qualifications. Selection is a negative process because it involves rejection. In the process of selection, the selection committee rejects the unsuitable candidates from the list of candidates. There are various stages to weed out certain candidates for a job. Selection is a vital process for the organization as it involves lot of time and money of the organization. It is the process including heavy investment. If the employer has chosen the wrong candidate for a job in consideration, then there will be a loss of time, money and effort, which was used during the selection period of the employee. Hence, a systematic procedure for selecting employee should be made by the organization so that right people can be employed. Every phase in the process of selection procedure should be eligible in getting more and more knowledge about the various applicants and candidates. When the company will select right people for the right job, then the employee will prove to be an asset for the business and lead the business to great heights. The benefits for selecting right candidate are as follows. First, rate of absenteeism. When right candidate is employed, which is dedicated towards the organization, then the rate of absenteeism will also be reduced. Second, labor turnover. When the employees feel satisfied with the organization and they are valued, then they do not think about switching their jobs, and therefore the labor turnover also gets reduced. Third, rate of industrial accidents. When suitable candidates who have knowledge and skills about that job, then the chances for industrial accidents will also be less. Fourth, job satisfaction. When employees have the job of their interest and which is of their choice, then they feel more satisfied with their jobs and contented towards the organization. It will also increase their efficiency. Fifth, motivation of employees. When the organization values their employees, listens to them, and treats them as assets for the business, then the employees feel highly motivated to give their best for the organization. Difference in recruitment and selection. Number 1, recruitment. Recruitment is the process of effectively searching and finding candidates to apply for a specific position or job. Whereas selection is the process of choosing the right candidate among all candidates who have applied for the job. Second, recruitment is a positive process as it involves all candidates to apply for the vacant position. Whereas selection is the negative process as it involves weeding out the unsuitable candidates. Third, the aim of recruitment is to make a pool of candidates, that means bringing a greater number of applications. Whereas the aim of selection is to choose the right candidate for the right job, which matches the skills and qualifications required. Fourth, on the basis of procedure, the organization advertises its vacancy through various sources and distribute the application from through which the candidate can apply in online mode or offline mode. Whereas in case of selection, the organization makes the candidate to pass through various stages like filling form, giving test, interview, etc. Fifth, in case of recruitment, there is no contractual relationship, whereas in case of selection, there is a contractual relationship between the employer and employee. There is no limit on the number of candidates applying in the process of recruitment, whereas there is a limit on the number of candidates getting selected in the process of selection. When we have recruitment plan ready and we have plenty of options to choose from, then we can start with the process of selection. The process of selection involves various steps to choose the right candidate to choose for the present job and for the future opening of the organization. Though the responsibility for hiring people lies with the manager and supervisors, but human resource management also plays a critical role in helping the manager in the process of selection. HRM helps in providing the guidelines and defining the roles for which job openings are there. The process of selection is an expensive process because of the amount of money and time involved. The process of hiring involves screening out the various applications, then weighing the resumes which are more superior than the others. The process of hiring involves screening out the various applications, then weighing the resumes which are more superior than the others. The candidates must pass through various stages during the process of selection. He has different hurdles in front of him, and if he is not able to clear a hurdle, then he won't be proceeded to the further stages. The process of selection includes various steps which are given below. Number 1. Preliminary interview. The first most step in the process of selection is the interview of the candidates. It is generally brief in nature and weeds out the unsuitable candidates in the earlier stage only. For example, the qualifications which is necessary for the job or the experience required or some kind of training, all these are not possessed by a candidate, then he stands unsuitable for further stages in the process of selection. He would be eliminated then and there only. The candidate who clears the interview will be allowed to fill the application form for more details of the candidate. This step helps the employer as well as employee. The benefits of the preliminary interview. Number 1, to applicant. Applicant does not have to pass through the long process of selection if he is unsuitable for a particular job. Then he will be saved from getting troubled by giving all the tests taken by the organization. Second, to organization. Organization can save its money and the expenses which would have been on the unsuitable candidate if the organization takes him to the remaining steps of the process. Second step, screening of application forms. After preliminary interviews, the candidates which are still suitable for the vacant position can be provided with application form either in physical form or the form can be downloaded from the organization's website. The application form should be very simple and incorporate all questions which can fetch the details required of the applicant. The form is required to have a written record of the qualifications, experience, skills possessed, and other qualities of the applicant. Usefulness of application forms. Number 1, application form gives detailed knowledge about the candidate to the interviewer. Number 2, the record can be collected in written form through application forms. Number 3, it makes the processing of the applications an easy task. Number 4, it helps in eliminating unsuitable candidates. Last, it also helps in taking the suitable candidates to the next stage of employment tests. Step 3, employment tests. These tests are mostly used by the organization to select the candidates for various jobs. These tests help in matching the right person for the right job. All the individuals are different from each other in the form of qualification, skills acquired, mental capacity, potential to learn, and their personality. So these various employment tests helps in knowing the candidate better. The following are the employment tests which can be taken by the organization to select suitable personnel. Number 1, intelligence test. These tests check the mental capacity of the candidates. These tests see the ability of the candidates to learn, to understand, to recall, and to catch. These tests also check the reasoning and judgments made by the candidates in the given situations. These tests measure the logical ability of the candidates. There are different types of intelligence tests made by the psychologist. These can be verbal or non-verbal in nature. Second, aptitude test. Aptitude test measures the potential of the candidates to learn and adapt any new skills which are required for the job. It checks whether there is capacity and motivation among the candidates for learning. These tests help the organization in knowing whether the candidate will be able to adapt to the new situations and the problems which will arise in the business in the coming future. Third, occupational test or professional test. These tests are also called as proficiency tests, performance tests, or trade tests. These tests helps in measuring the skills already possessed by the candidates. Proficiency tests are different from aptitude tests as the former measures the skills already acquired by the candidate while the latter measures the potential of learning new skills by the candidate. Trade test takes some example of candidate's behavior which will replicate his actual behavior. Fourth, interest test. These tests measure the level of interest of the candidates in different areas. These tests helps in finding the right job for the candidate according to his interest. Fifth, personality test. These tests help in knowing the different personalities of the candidates. It reflects their interest, their qualities, their aptitude in a combined manner. It shows how much mature the candidate is, his emotional side, and many more aspects which does not come out from the other tests conducted. Fourth step, employment interview. After all the employment test has been conducted, The candidates which clears these tests are called for the final interview. It would be conducted by the board members consisting of the human resource manager and the people from other departments. This interview will check whether the candidate is suitable or not and also give him clearer picture about the role and responsibilities of the vacant position. In interview, there is a face-to-face conversation between the board members and the candidate. Apart from oral communication, there is also constant observation regarding body language, confidence, and situation handling of the candidate. The conducting interviews are very important for the organization. Importance of interviews. Number 1, face-to-face contact. There is a face-to-face communication which helps in knowing more personality traits of the candidate. Second, more information. The candidate can also get more knowledge about the organization and the job and therefore improves understanding about the role of the job. Third, communication skills. The communication skills can be judged by looking at confidence, fluency, and smoothness in speaking. Fourth, applicable in cases of non-elaborated selection. When the organization is not following all the steps like not conducting the employment test, then interview can really help in weeding out the unsuitable candidates and selecting the appropriate one. Fifth step, reference checking. After the interviews, the candidates are asked to give reference details for some people. The details of the references include their name, address, mobile number, etc. These details are necessary for investigating purpose and getting some more information about the candidate. The references can be previous employer, university teachers, professors, known persons. Step 6. Medical examination. After all the tests have been conducted, interview have been taken and the references have been checked, the selected candidate has to pass through medical examination which will ensure that the candidate is physically apt for the job. Medical examination will help the organization in saving the expenses from hiring the medically unfit candidate. Step 7. Appointment letter or job offer. Now this is the last stage in the process of selection. When the candidate has successfully cleared all the hurdles in the process of selection, he will be provided with an appointment letter for joining the organization. 3.6.2 Induction. When the whole procedure of selection has been done and the candidate is given appointment letter, then comes the turn for the induction process. Induction is the process in which the employee is introduced to the organization. It is the process of orientation where the employee is welcomed and is made to feel at home in the organization. This process is the first communication between the new employee and the existing employees. It helps in building cordial relationship among all the employees. The whole process of orientation helps the new employee in knowing everyone in the organization and to get adjusted smoothly with his colleagues. He also gets acquainted with the work environment. A senior employee has been dedicated with the work of systematically introducing the new joiner to the whole organization. Every organization has different ways of orientation. Some companies show some small video depicting the company's past and future along with mission and vision. The new joiner is also given information about the lunch break, washroom facilities, canteen facilities, tea breaks, etc. The objectives of induction are: first, to build the confidence of the newcomer; second, to give the new employee all necessary information; third, to develop cordial relationship among all the employees; fourth, to develop a positive attitude of the new employee towards the organization; fifth, to develop a sense of belonging to the organization. Benefits of induction. Number 1, it encourages developing two-way communication between the new employee and the management. Number 2, it helps in reducing the nervousness of the new employee. Number 3, it helps in knowing what the new employee is expecting from the organization. Fourth, it fosters developing positive attitude towards the company. Last, it reduces the time of socialization process. Induction procedure. First, new employee has been provided with the timings and the place where he needs to work. Second, when the new employee comes for the duty, the senior employee should meet him and welcome him. Third, all information related to working hours, number of leaves available, medical leaves should be conveyed to the employee. Fourth, after this, an introduction to the department should be given in which he will work and to whom he will report should be told to him. Fifth, some printed material related to information should also be provided to the employee apart from the oral communication. Last, the orientation program should be conducted by the senior employee who is well versed with the organization so that he leaves a positive impression about the organization on the new employee. 3.7 Summary. This lesson taught us the job analysis, the two byproducts of job analysis, recruitment process, selection process, induction process. We have also learned the meaning of downsizing and how it should be introduced in the organization to face less resistance from the employees and how can we retain our talented employees in the organization. Thank you for listening.